V. So what I'm going to start off with is a story I was going to talk about last week actually, and it's actually like about 2 or 3 weeks old. So some of you might know about it already. It's about the 14-year-old boy that was stabbed on the bus. His name was I think it was Kalen or Kaylani. I think Kalen. Um, it says that he was an up and coming rapper, drill rapper. Um, Apparently he had like a big audience and a big following, and he was like doing well. Um, but unfortunately, it would appear that allegedly he was in a gang and was attacked un, um, and unfortunately he was unalived. Um, what was sad was I remember seeing the video of his mum talking, and she was basically like she looked really distraught, but she almost looked like, and what was she was saying as well, it almost seemed like she was kind of like waiting for it to happen.
It's like she knew it was gonna
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, yeah.
So like she was saying that basically he was in the gang, and obviously she was trying to talk to him and trying to just talk to him and trying to make him stay positive and
Yeah.
not run with that kind of crowd, because she knew inevitably what was gonna happen. Um, so I'm just gonna say, like, obviously, I think at 14, he's obviously very, very young.
Young,
His
very.
mind is still like, he's still processing. He's still like learning things and stuff like that. So he probably hadn't found himself yet, but like got swept up in this kind of gang
In the
thing.
crowd, like, yeah.
Which, when you're them kind of ages, it's appealing to them for many reasons. You know what I mean? They feel like the gang is a family. They feel respected. A lot of it, I think, as well, is peer pressure. Like you caring about what the next person thinks, and you wanting to look hard, and you know what I mean, and be respected and stuff like that. It's
At
just
young ages, you're more to like, not in a rude way, but like not use your
common sense, like maybe like
yeah,
be more influenced,
yeah,
easily influenced. You know what I mean? And then
and not
also,
easily follow the crowd. Young
yeah,
ages, they're more to follow, and but with more like wiser people. I'm not
yeah,
sure if that's the word. You more use your head, kind
yeah.
of thing, not in a rude way.
And even like the
Yeah.
music, like most drill, apart from you've got the odd kind of rappers, the odd artists that are like gospel artists, and they make
Yeah.
drill music, and it's wicked.
Yeah.
It's got a wicked beat, and they're talking positive things. So you can actually,
Yeah,
make
positive
good songs.
on the drill beat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can make songs talking about positive things, and it can get people moving the same way. Because sometimes when I actually clock the words, I'm like, oh, it's gospel, and it sounds so good. So, but yeah, so unfortunately, he has met his demise, and obviously, like the mum, like I said, just seemed a
Yeah,
bit
it's sad,
like
man.
deflated.
Very.
It was her only son,
Yeah,
and he was lost to the streets, which is really, really sad, which is happening a lot.
very sad. Yeah, it's happening a lot.
So condolences to his family. I just wanted to mention that quickly. There wasn't really a lot to say on it, because I mean, sorry, it was alleged that he was in a gang, and unfortunately, I think the story is he was seen by two of them or so on the bus, and
On
then
the
they
bus,
attacked him.
yeah.
And I
They
don't want to lie,
showed
but I
it
think they said he was stabbed like 27 times.
27 times.
It was almost coming like a frenzied attack. Do you know what I mean? It was a lot of stabs.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
very
mean? So
sad.
if he had survived, it probably would have been a miracle type of thing. I think the aim was to unalive him, and that's what they were successful in doing. So I just feel like for the youngsters, they need to I don't know, like think before they do things. Think about the people you're walking with. Think about the things that you're putting out there. Think about, you know what I mean? Think about how you're coming across.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
guy said after talking about the young boy, because a lot of people knew him, and so people said, he was good hearted and he was a good boy, and they were saying that basically if you took away the clothes that he used to wear and took him away from that kind of group, and that he was really a nice boy, that
Yeah.
he could have gone the other way, maybe with a few more years. He might have, which is what happens sometimes. When you're younger, you're doing certain things. It seems cool, it seems funny at the time. For some people, they get a criminal record, which doesn't seem like anything when you're younger. But then as you get older and you're trying to find a job,
It's gonna affect.
it's going to affect you
Yeah,
down the
it's gonna
line.
affect
So
it,
it might
yeah.
not affect you straight away, but you know what I mean, in the future, you can't get good credit, you can't get a job, which I do think is bad, because I do feel like, if you do a crime and you've done the time, then you should be able to, like, once you've come out, you should be able to lead a normal life. You know what I mean? 'Cause the judge said you need to get 5 years or 10 years, and you've done your 5 to 10 years, and now you've come out. Why can't you lead a normal life? However, I will say, for me, it's dependent on the crime that you've done. It depends on what you've done. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
if you've unalived somebody, then you going inside, even for 20 years or 30 years of your life, for me, is not enough. You've taken a whole life, and then you still get to sorry, you've obviously been conditioned, and that's like your punishment, but then you do get to still come out, liaise with your family, depending on your age, go on to make a family and live life, you know what I mean, and create more memories, whereas the person who unfortunately is not there can't go on to do that. So it's a little bit bittersweet, you know what I mean? But if you have done your time, then really But then, like I said, sometimes even the crime, no, the sentence that you've been given doesn't maybe match up to the crime, and you're thinking to yourself, no, they should have got longer, or they should have got life. That's one thing I do like about America. I feel like they're quite dated with certain things, but I feel like the electric chair, the
electric chair, yeah,
and the lethal injection. I think that's still around for them. For certain characters, depending on the crime, because some crimes are really gruesome, and some people, it seems like they can't be rehabilitated. Those people, I feel like that's one of the best options for them. There's no point in putting you back into society for us to have the same problem.
You're going to do it again,
or
yeah.
you having temptation and stuff like that. That person like has shown that, do you know what I mean? They can't live a normal life and be around people, and then people be safe. So, yeah. I just wanted to mention that still. And then the next thing I was going to go into is TikTok.
Okay.
So I was going to say that I originally made an account, like, I think in 2020, but it was because it was the lockdown, and I was bored and had a lot of time on my hands. So that's the reason why I made the account. But when I made it, I didn't, put up any pictures or anything like that. I feel like it was just to be able to go onto the social and just see the stories and stuff like that. So I had made the account so long ago that over the time, I noticed that I was getting videos from TikTok, and I was watching them when I was laughing and stuff like that. And then it got to the point where I was like, why do I keep on getting these TikTok videos? Because once I made the account, I didn't use it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh yeah, I made an account like how many years ago, and obviously, you know what I mean, whatever's trending is coming up. So then I got sick again in like April, and then again I had more time on my hands, and that was last year. So then that's when I kind of like went into the social now, and then, you know what I mean, posted a picture, whatever, and I was more, because I had time on my hands, more like watching what was going on and a little bit more into it, but not like, not, you know what I mean? So then I just noticed that like, then I started to learn about it more, like people playing matches and stuff like that. But what I did notice was that like there's a lot of, there's a lot of beef on there. A lot of people, humiliating people, degrading people.
I don't really use
cursing
TikTok
people.
like that,
I mean,
so I wouldn't really know. Yeah.
It comes up in it, like, so a video might come up, and then, at the top of the screen you can see it, and then once you've looked at one video, you might just go into a couple of others which comes up. So I don't really go looking through people's pages, but the things that come up that are trending, I will kind of scroll up, do you know what I mean, and I can get to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're more we know already that drama and things like that is more, for some reason, that's what people are more like home into, and that's what more people want to see.
Entertaining for them,
right,
like, yeah, for the
entertainment
people
and purposes, yeah. So this time, so I noticed that there's a lot of like, people trolling, and that's from like, accounts that have no pictures, and have no links to anybody, and I think that's the reason for it. So then they can say whatever they want to say, which is derogatory, maybe cause offense to somebody, and they can just go all out without anybody putting a finger. Then you have the other people who say what they're saying with chess. Like, they'll say some things that it's not going to sit well with everybody, but their page is a real person, and they're just being open about their opinions, and they don't really care whose back is up by it. Yeah. But then so then I'm seeing a lot of people like going backwards and forwards, and it seems to be a little bit like maybe for clout, and that's where the money's at. Do you know what I mean? More people lock in when you're cussing and there's negative things going in, so you get more followers because they want to see more drama. But then like it started to get a bit serious. So not like I'm just talking about this specific group of people, but there's beef all over socials and TikTok, so like between celebrities and different artists and females and younger groups and older groups for all different reasons. So this specific group I'm talking about was that I noticed was like a kind of like a Jamaican group that were in Jamaica, and they weren't like a group, but it was like, I noticed one guy, he would come on and he was really, really funny, but at one point it seemed that he was kind of like I don't know, like dissing people and calling certain people's names, and then people would warn him and say to him, listen, stop doing that, you know what I mean, you're getting people's backs up and stuff like that. Some people were saying he was doing it for clout. So I didn't actually follow that person because, when you go onto TikTok, seeing a little bit of drama, wicked. But I didn't actually follow him to be like, to keep up with it, because he would just come up anyway. But unfortunately, he was unalived. But what I did see is that when he was going backwards and forwards with people were warning him, and then within a matter of weeks, he was gone. And then after that, there was another Jamaican guy. I'm not laughing, sorry, because it was funny. There was another Jamaican guy, and down the line, he was unalived as well. So there's literally about 3 within the last like 3 months, 2 to 3 months. Where it starts off with the going backwards and forwards, and then a lot of people talking about it. It starts to trend.
That's
people
how
feel
it starts,
disrespected.
and then it ends up like people trying to kill each other, and it's just
and then,
sad.
I'm just seeing them dropping down. So it's like, I feel like social media's getting to people's heads a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, just to receive money, sometimes people are doing things they're not thinking. You know what I mean? It's not really clever to go on the socials.
They're not thinking at the moment
dissing people.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Or causing offence purposely just to get views and just to get likes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. This is like human beings. This is people's lives we're playing with here.
I would never do that to get views, because I know if someone was to do it to me, I
There's
would not
comeback.
like it.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, I would not
repercussions for
like it.
everything that you do. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like some
yeah.
people are different. You can say something bad about them, and then now you've made a whole enemy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know. So that person's gone away feeling a certain type of way towards you, and you don't even know. And that's
Mm-hmm.
even worse. But yeah, there's like a lot of going backwards and forwards, and people just cussing people. And I just don't even understand why we're not uplifting whoever's on there and whatever. They're all trying to do the same thing, make money and all the rest of it. So why can you not like uplift each other? Or furthermore, you not just stay in your lanes. You know what I mean? You do what you're doing. You do what you're doing.
And don't bother about
there's
the
enough money
people,
for everybody
just
to
do
make.
you. Yeah.
And then, but then that's yes. I think that's quite serious, and I've been seeing that a lot. You know, a lot of beef, and then it's actually leading to people, you know, losing their lives and stuff like that. Like social media is not just a joke. It's real. It's real people's lives, and it goes on to cause real life situations that are detrimental. Do you know what I mean? And then the next thing to do with TikTok, but that's off topic now. So that was about, you know, I'm just seeing like a lot of more people getting unlined. And another reason that I think is because a lot of people are feeling disrespected. So sometimes then now they feel like they've got to do
Say
a certain,
something back in it,
yeah,
or
to
retaliate
retaliate, to be
back.
seen as,
Yeah.
and people just need to stop caring about what people think. Literally. So I'm saying whatever you're doing, you shouldn't be looking to do it with intention to cause. You shouldn't be looking to do it maliciously with intention to cause
drama
offense or upset or anything like that. But at the same time, some people are destined to just stop you in your flow and stop you growing. Do you know what I mean? Stop your growth. So you have to know to like distinguish between the two. And like I said, be headstrong as long as you're doing the right things and just don't care what people think.
It's just easy to block the negative vibes.
Of course, just block it out.
Block them.
Just block it out. And then look, and social media can be a dark place, as we know. Like I met a friend, like I think it was in the lockdown actually, and when we were trying to like exchange numbers and stuff, I was gonna just say to her, I'm not on a lot of social, but I'm just gonna say to her, you know, what's your face? No, I did say to her, actually, you know, what's your Facebook? And it's like she doesn't have one. What's your Instagram? She doesn't have one. What's your TikTok? She doesn't have one. And it was just like, oh, okay, WhatsApp. And she's like, I don't have WhatsApp. And it was like, then she sort of like looked at it, and then she said, no, do you know what it is I don't want my son to be on any of them socials, so she doesn't think it's fair. I asked her how old her son was, and he was, I think, 13.
Okay.
And she doesn't think it's fair that she has the socials and he's not allowed to go onto it. So to lead by example, she doesn't have them, and then there's no problems. You know what I mean? But actually, it was really good. I actually thought it was really good that in that day and age, she was able to do that, because as we know, like I said, social media is a dark place, and sometimes kids can see some bad things or be targeted. So, but at the same time, I feel like his friends and everybody will be on it, and you're not like you got to follow the crowds, but then when like he wants to interact with them or whatever on the socials, you can't be a part of any WhatsApp groups, or do you know what I mean?
At the same time, you can like
text.
obviously like have a phone, have the social media, but just like know
Well, he's not allowed to.
what you're
You know what I
doing,
mean?
kind
She
of
doesn't
thing.
like. She doesn't
Yeah.
want him to. That was
Yeah.
then, and I mean that was a few years ago. So now he's obviously older, so maybe he is allowed to have it now, because he'll be at an age more where he will be more mature. And if you've been away from it for so long, then to be honest with you, you probably would go in it and be calm, because do you know what I mean?
If
You
the
haven't been
if
all
the
that time.
person is what's the word when the person can think for themselves.
Yeah.
What's the word? Wiser. What's the word?
Well, exactly that. Think for themselves.
Yeah.
Use their own initiative.
Think
Don't
for
follow
yourself.
the crowd.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's just someone where like you can't really think for yourself and you're just doing what them people's doing, then it's not good, because
No,
you don't
of course.
you don't really have a mind of your own. You're just following what the crowd is doing.
This is it.
And it can even put you in trouble, and then you know
We've
it
got
might
a
not
whole
even
problem
end
on
up
our
well.
hands. You
Yeah.
get me? But yeah.
And
Right.
also there was another topic as well. All right, guys. So just gonna play. Just gonna run some music, and we'll be back.
UK. Hey y'all, this is Felicia Faye, and wherever you are in the world, you can listen to Choice FM UK London via the TuneIn app or on the website, which is www.choicefmuk.co.uk.
This is Yana Toma, and this is Choice FM UK.
They can't be blamed for that. That was their last memory of when they was out. Down to buildings will change and roads, and do you know what I mean? There'll be buildings created on what was greenery, and shops or places that they used to go that have been knocked down. And do you get me? Oyster card. When my brother came out, he was like, what's the Oyster card? And I was like, if you don't have one, you can't travel. You know what I mean? Another way, if when you think about it, of them dotting out where you're going and where you're going to be, but it was all confusing to him. But yeah, that's another thing, that the time you're in, a lot of things have changed and you're kind of left in the past kind of thing.
Yeah, because while you're in there, you're basically in one. You don't even see outside half the time. If you don't go outside, you don't see anything. So time stands still. You expect everybody to not exactly remain the same, because time moves on. You're aware of the situation. You're aware that time goes on. You see time goes on, but it's almost as if time has stood still when you're there.
No,
Even if you're there for 10 months or a year, you'd be surprised that when you come out, things has changed.
No, exactly. It's true. All right, so let's be a little bit more specific now. So then we'll go into like certain crimes, and then you can tell me if you think those specific crimes can be rehabilitated, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We'll start off light and go up. So stealing. Stealing, money laundering, them kind of things. Do you think that someone can, come out and stop living that lifestyle and not go back to doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I certainly agree with that. I mean, if you look at, the Italians out in the US, the Godfathers and all that kind of stuff, they came out. They're now new business people. No one even recognized them. Unless you often know, and you know. But if you saw them on the street, we would never know that they were a part of a massive organization. Like the mafia. And most people don't even know that they're now business people, that own companies, that own banks, that own a lot of
They
stuff.
put the money to good use.
Yeah,
gone legal.
Exactly. So you would never know. So there's always room for that.
I agree with the stealing. Okay, so what do you think about somebody graping someone?
Depends on if they even get out, because the problem is the two things when you're in jail, when you're in prison. Sorry, for the viewers. When you're in prison, the two hardest things for you to be in jail is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And
children, they don't like
when it comes to children,
right?
And potentially even like SA.
Yeah.
And depending on the how many victims that is. So in those situations, it's difficult for them, because they'd be lucky if they even make it outside that facility. A lot of them, things happen.
Okay, but
let's say things happen to them while they're in there. So it's harder for them. But if they do manage to come out, I would say it's more difficult, because it's not more of lifestyle, it's more mentality.
Yeah.
And because it's more of a mental thing, it's kind of difficult to kind of reform from that. I'm not saying it's not possible.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more difficult, because unless they're going to say, okay, you know what, I got this issue, and I got this issue, and I'm going to...
What's this? Sorry.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the pausing, guys. There's a comment coming up, but trying to make heads or tails what you're saying. So back to the topic of what we're talking about. When it comes to prison reform and those kind of people, I think it's possible, but unless they go out of their way to say we're going to seek professional help, or someone's going to help them to be reformed, it's almost impossible for them to do that.
I'm going to say that like there's been cases where people have done like worse things than that, or things of a little bit of the same level, even if of worse nature, and they didn't get life. Do you know what I mean? They got a couple of years and they done that and they came out. So when you're saying, yes, I don't think that somebody would get life. There's been people that have unalived people and they've done 15, 20. Do you know what I mean? Not like that, but if you potentially unalive somebody, especially in England, you can do like between 10 and 20 and you're out again. Yeah, you don't get life in England. It's not life, especially if you're of a certain age. If you're 20 and you get life, you're out by 40. You're out. You're living life. You're going to have a bash at life again. If it's America, you not like that. I'm kind of ramping a bit. I'm exaggerating, but you steal an apple, and that's the end of your days. It's more 79 years, and then you know what I mean. And when they finish with you, you've got about 200 years. You're not even going to live to finish that sentence. It's unrealistic. Do you know what I mean? But in England, as we know, not like that. But if you do something like that, the amount of years you've been given, depending on your age, you actually do have an opportunity to come back out and start again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest difference between the US and
Yeah.
the UK. And a lot of times I do make when I talk about these things, I try to use both
Yeah, as
examples
example, because they're very
because
different in terms
they're
of
very different. I
the
mean,
punishment and the you know
yeah,
what I mean?
even inside even inside the actual prisons themselves,
Yeah.
like how prison is here, and you go to any prison in the US is completely different.
And I'm going to stop you there only because I'm going to say completely agree with you, because watching certain documentaries and hearing certain people speak, there's actually people out there that when it comes to Christmas and it's coming to the cold time, they will actually go and do something just so that they can go inside for a couple of months. That is to tell you that like the system is not, it's obviously not tough enough if you're doing something to go inside for a couple of months just to get a couple of like meals and be in the warmth over a certain period of time. You're not doing it in America.
No, I
Do you
mean,
understand me?
you know, here a lot of people get PlayStations and Xboxes
It's very
and all kinds of
comfortable.
things. They just live life in there. They're comfortable in there.
And I'm
It's
gonna
no
say-
different from being outside.
No, I
In
want to
the
say in
US.
225, I know someone that's inside right now, and what they've started doing is, like before you, everyone would get phone call time, and then obviously you got a queue of people waiting and stuff like that, and you're more under pressure as well because you got people waiting. Now you've got a phone in your cell. You can call people at whatever time, constant, as long as you've got credit. So it's a new thing they're doing. I think maybe it might be to prevent these phones coming in and people breaking the laws and doing certain things. And now allowing you to have a phone in your cell where you are able to make calls 24 hours a day.
Wow.
It's not like that. It's a bit too comfortable. People is in there doing gym, playing computer, listening to music, buying snacks from canteen and all that.
Yeah.
Living life. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like floating by till they come out. If that was America, you're gonna be under some serious pressure.
No, I mean, they do get some of those things. They don't get. It's not as a comfortable lifestyle that you live in here than you live out there. And most people, most of the depending on the state you're in, but a lot of them they are they in a room with maybe three other people, including themselves. There's 4 people. There's just one toilet in there.
Yeah.
They have, if they do get a phone, they get credit for a certain amount of minutes. So even
Where's
if they
this in America?
yeah. So if they go over those minutes, that's it. That's them. They would have to go and buy more minutes, and they can't talk. Once the lights go out, they can't be making no
And that's
phone
how
calls.
it should be. Not being funny, but you've committed a crime, so you're meant to make this person feel it. You're meant to go there and be like, I don't want to come here again. I'm not going to do that again. Not even just because of the way you were living or because you couldn't get your hands on the certain luxuries that you like, but because you're meant to learn. It's meant to be a learning curve, and you're meant to be like, you know what, this is not for me. I don't want to come here again. So when they make it all like cushy like that, people are going to jail and seeing their brethren and all that. It's like a link up.
Yeah,
You get me? And then they're just liming. Do you know what I mean? Like they would do when they're on road kind of thing. It's not. I feel like it defeats the. You're meant to go in there and you're meant to feel the pressure. Yeah. So whatever
Yeah.
you've done, you don't do it again, and you think about it the next time before you do something silly like that. Do you get me? But it's
Yeah.
all like.
And once again, it depends on who you are. If you're coming from the street
Yeah.
and you go in, as if you can handle yourself, it's not an issue. The issue becomes when people are not from that cloth, and they just by mistake, go with a group of friends, and something's happened. Like, I don't know, someone gets beat up, and then next thing you know, someone dies or whatever.
Yeah,
Not
because there is
to
clips
get
in there as
great
well, isn't it?
details.
Like we were saying, people
And
going there and
those
see
people are just the catalyst of what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, those kind of people don't really survive. Even if it's comfortable, it's not necessarily comfortable for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it just depends on the kind of mentality you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what about step it up now a bit? So what about somebody who is a schmedophile?
Hey, what?
A schmedophile. Without me saying the word, I just put an M in front. Well, an F.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You ain't gonna say the name, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think?
No. And only because I'm gonna say that for me is a little bit more deeper. I feel like you said, I feel like it's I think a lot of it is mental, but I just feel like the temptation, I think that what you like is going to be always around you. And I just feel like kids are very vulnerable. And I feel like somebody of that nature would actually do it again, especially if there's a history of it. And maybe something has happened more than once. Then for me, definitely, because it's occurred more than once. But even if you've done it once, maybe depending on the nature of the story, the ins and outs of it. But a lot of the time, it's somebody who's managed to maybe pull the wool over someone's eyes, come in as a certain character, being able to have access around this child where no one didn't realize or think that anything like that was going on. So it was very easy for them to to do these things. You get me, and get away with it for so long. Children being children sometimes.
So I think
Well, again, you're not
it's
meant
not-
to know, isn't it? Because that person's meant to have a chance of a normal life. So it's not a thing where they splash out
it's not the fact of
Johnny Brown or, you know, Marcus Desmond is going to be released and they're going to put him there in Hackney. No, they're not meant to tell you because then he becomes a target. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true. But the thing is, like, when they come out, they have to be put in those places purely because they have to be put away.
Yeah.
Just because of the sheer nature of one.
Of course.
For
because
one, for
they
the
also have
one,
a duty to protect the public.
well, yeah,
and
one
people
from
around,
one
do you
from
know
the
what I mean?
public and two for themselves. Because
Right.
a lot of times when people know, there's going to be problems for him or her because, you know, it can go either or.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, do you feel, actually, even breaking it down, how do you feel when it comes to, in this conversation, are you talking about for both genders?
Oh,
or
of
are you talking
course.
about for one or the other?
No, I'm not going to be sexist at all. But to be honest with you, when I asked you, I think I was more thinking of from a male perspective. However, no, they come in both forms. So now that you've asked me, I'm glad I can more specify both. A schmedophile is a schmedophile. Yes, if you're that way inclined, you're that way inclined. I don't feel like the sex makes a difference. If you're like that, you're like that.
Okay.
Whether you're male, we've got two heads, one head. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like it matters about culture, color, or race. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. You are what you are.
Okay, but do you think that
Own it.
do you think that the sentence is more severe for male than for females?
I think it is. Because as you're saying that now, and do you know what, actually, I was actually going to say to you, as you're saying that now, I come across more stories from a male perspective, but I don't actually. What I feel is that I feel like, not like that, but I feel like in my experience, when I come across stories, it might be a male with obviously a younger child, maybe a little more younger, yeah? And I feel like when it's a woman, in most cases, they're like kind of like 11, going up to 15. They're kind of them age of this, so it's the same thing, but they're going for, they're targeting children, but of a little bit older than the infant age kind of thing. So it's the same thing. It's really bad. It's like teachers, and nowadays teachers are young, pretty, dress fashionable. Kids can be, can get aroused or become enticed and everything because it's normal. You know what I mean? That's why there's not even no dress code in schools, and there should be. Some teachers, what they're wearing, it's school, innit? And we need these kids to concentrate on the books and nothing else, and not to be distracted by, you understand what I'm saying? Seriously, not to be distracted by other things going on. How can they learn? But like I said, the teachers are getting younger and younger.
Very well, trust me.
Yeah, but I mean, unless we're talking about the sex education, you know what I mean? They're not going to be, they're more watching the teacher and her shape and everything, because back in the day, the teachers them used to look like teachers. Not to be rude, they was a little bit crispy. No one didn't fancy them. Do you know what I mean? And like the teachers then were teachers, man. They was in their 40s, 50s and all that, and they were like older than us. So nobody wasn't looking at them like that. Now you've got TAs, and they can be as young as 18 in the school. So you know what I mean? And some of them look young for their age. So the boys see them, they get excited. And I think for one woman got pregnant. A teacher got pregnant for about a year ago.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And she was actually seeing about 2 or 3 boys. But there was one that she got her clutches in, and she actually fell in love with that one. You lost your whole career. I think she had a fiance. She had a whole fiance, lost her fiance.
Yeah.
Her family's obviously looking at her different. You come, and I felt sorry for the boy because he's so young to be going through that. She messed with his head. It's an adult that was meant to protect him and teach him things, keep him safe, that violated him. And now he's a whole dad. He's so young, he's a whole dad. You know what I mean? And she's talking about, I loved him and everything. Girl, you had a whole fiance. What was you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
If that wasn't a midlife crisis, I don't even know what was going on. I don't even know what was going on. But the message that she was sending to him, she really wanted them to be together.
Wow.
Yeah. And her husband, her fiance, was absolutely mortified. He was embarrassed. He was humiliated, and everything. I was just like, wow. I don't know how. Didn't you think did you not think, when it comes out, the fact that the boy is, I think when they had the baby, I think then he was 16, but I think she started troubling him from he was 14. And some of these kids are too fresh, they know too much. But imagine a teacher coming to a nap, the man must have thought, he's young, he's talking to his friend. You know that they have little banters and everything, that the teacher's moving to you, do you know what I mean? It's an older woman, but then she tried to get heavy on him. He tried to break it down with her. Yeah. Because he was scared to tell his parents, he's still a child.
No, of course.
And she wasn't having it. She tried to manipulate him and blackmail him. Then I was just like, boy, but it's happening a lot. Yeah. Where people, they just can't give into sexual temptations, or they can't seem to separate reality from real life and separate, what they should be doing and what they should not be doing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when people have that kind of mentality, that's the problem. It kind of warps their worldview of things. Everything's kind of meshed together. They can't really function in a normal society because their viewpoint is always that. And Yeah, that's crazy. 14. But the thing is, like, it's more her than the
Of
boy
course, 'cause she's the adult and
because at the end of the day,
understands
one,
fully what this
one, she's
means.
an adult of the situation, and two, of course, any boy or girl, if they have like a teacher or whatever, and all of a sudden this teacher say, "Oh yeah, come, I hope you have your homework," and doing all sorts of
Yeah,
wild
of
things,
course.
he's not gonna say no.
No, of
He's gonna say,
course.
"Oh wow, talk to his friends and say, oh, I got this teacher, blah 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 blah." So people see, that's what gets me concerned when it comes to schools and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because you know children are going to there to learn, and then you got people doing all sorts of wild stuff.
And she had a good CRB check. So obviously she hadn't done anything to date when she had gone for the job, but then she was obviously capable of doing. So she was a good person when she went for the job. There's no criminal record. There's no reason for them to look at you and think anything. You've got a good track record.
The thing is with those kind of things, most people do.
They do, isn't it? Yeah, of course.
Most people it's not the same as doing everything else. Most of those things go undetected. Same thing
Yeah,
like
of course.
with essaying, unless someone's going to report and there's like a long history of them being essayed.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know.
No, of course,
nobody's
of
gonna
course.
know unless those people come to where they're at and say, "Oh, this person's done this." No one's gonna know. No one's gonna think anything of that person, especially
Yeah.
if they are respected. So if they're a respected teacher, everybody likes them. Everybody thinks the world of them. Nobody's gonna
Very
say.
true.
Nobody's gonna look at them sideways and think, "Oh my God, this teacher is doing this, or this teacher's doing that."
And I mean, she lost a lot. So she obviously humiliated her family. She lost her fiance, lost her job, and I'm sure she can't work with children anymore, and had to sign the sexual register. And on top of that, the baby's not with her. The baby's, if I'm not wrong, has been either fostered or put up for adoption. She's entitled to supervised visits. So imagine that it just all went crazy. She thought it was going to be him and her living in a hut, raising this child, and he's going to get to 18 and then nobody can't tell him anything, even though there's a big age gap. But now he's an adult, and it didn't even, you know what I mean, transpire to that, because he was actually trying to say that he was trying to break it off with her. She wouldn't have it. So she got like almost obsessed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could see that from the texts that it was unhealthy.
Yeah.
And him as the child was the one that was trying to pull away, because, you know what I mean, maybe it was just too overwhelming for him. And even the parents said they saw a change in him. They saw a change in his schoolwork, because the man for 14, you're taking on a lot. That's
of
big.
course.
That's big people business. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But yeah, so I just think that's crazy. I need to get an update, but the update is that the baby was taken away. She was like, "Oh, I love my baby," and it's just like, well, if you're gonna have sexual interactions with a child, we don't even know how you're gonna be with your child, to be honest, because you're already showing us that you're not responsible.
No, it's true.
You get me?
It's true.
So I don't know what will happen if
But I can't. Did she
and she
go?
went down. Yeah.
But I don't.
It went on for a minute. I'm not too sure how long she got, because the trial went on. It went on for a minute. So I'm not too sure what she got exactly. But you went down. But I'm not too sure how long they had to make an example. It was too publicized. It was too publicized as well. So you have to make an example, because teachers can't go around doing this, man.
I think people are still upset what she got. I can't remember how many years she got.
Yeah.
But I think
and again, feeling sorry for her, she's trying to say that she was going through a lot. But if you're going through a lot,
people felt that she didn't get enough when
no, of course
in
not.
comparison
She should have got a couple of years.
Other people. I think she only got less than 3 years. I believe.
You see.
It wasn't very long at all. So I think it's wild that people have to go through these things, especially in schools.
And then she goes on to have any more kids, even with somebody else. Every child that you have is going to be have some social services involved, and they're going to need to vet you and monitor you and all the rest of it. And I don't even know if she'll be able to keep another child. I feel like the conditions might be that you're not allowed to, you wouldn't be able to raise a child on your own, because you've done that and you signed the thing.
Oh, she signed it?
Yeah, she had to sign the sexual, because you had to think with a minor.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
She looked so timid, and when she was crying, I'm not going to lie, she nearly drew me in now, because then I had to remember why she was crying. Because I'm an empath, you know what I mean? So when I saw her crying, I was like, oh. And then I thought, no. Because if you didn't get caught, you would have been there manipulating the boy and trying to get him to do all kind of things. And I think because the parents were a little bit fishy, I think they went through the phone. And then I think they must have been so shocked when they saw what they saw.
Yeah, of
do
course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And then him and his friends going backwards and forwards, because they both, had the pleasures of, you know what I mean? And it's just mad. It's just mad. And he even started saying to her, look at your age. You should be finding someone your own age group. And that's the kind of thing that he was coming to her with.
Yeah.
It's a bit shameful. Do you know what I mean? It's very embarrassing.
No, it is. It is very.
And you got a whole husband there. He was a hard worker, not a husband, fiance.
Yeah.
Hard working. You lot had plans to move him, to set up home and eventually have your own kids. And he was devastated, but he was more humiliated than anything.
Of course.
More humiliated than anything. Imagine you say to your friend, my woman cheated on me with a younger guy, someone in school, they'll be like, what? But it was all over the news.
Yeah, of course.
Her name, the family, his name,
of course.
their life and everything. Do you know what I mean? But he got, as far as I'm concerned, he got a lucky escape, mate. Because, you can't judge a book by its cover. Like, you look sane, but my guy, you might not be sane. Do you get what I'm saying?
Nah, see.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though, innit? What is normal again?
Nothing's normal.
Right. So you'll see some pictures of people that have done things, like, whoa, he looks normal. What is normal, though?
Nothing's normal today.
We're more like coil away from something that doesn't look normal and more come towards something that doesn't. Like what they say, a leopard in sheep's clothing. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's just it's not normal.
It's not.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. Me personally, people that are watching me, I judge everyone by its cover. I don't care.
Yeah, we're Virgos, so Virgos can be critical already.
Me personally, like what I see, that's it. That's what I know. Unless you prove me otherwise, unless I see anything different, that's what I see. That's what you are. Mm-hmm. So,
well, not really, because I come back to that saying, like, show me who you're walking and I tell you who you are. And that's not really right, because you could see somebody from school who's got a dirty habit for something, and you just saw them on the road, and then you're catching up just for a little, how you been? Someone sees you and be like, yeah, I just saw Ting and Ting together, don't lie, my man. Do you understand me? And then we got a whole story. So are you sure about that?
Yeah, because a lot of times because even the people you keep is what you are. That's how it goes. If you hang with certain people,
but not necessarily. You might know people from. And I'm not talking from experience. I'm just saying you might have family members that are into certain things that you're not, but they're your family members. You can't pick your family members, unfortunately. So
maybe, but you
they're
don't
your
see
family, but doesn't mean that because they're your family, got the same bloodline in you. Whatever they're doing, you're doing.
Maybe, but you don't see them every day.
You could live in the same house, but it doesn't mean because. Do you understand me?
But that's different from living with
someone. He could be a player and you're not. It doesn't mean that. You know what I mean?
True, but if you hang with them, if you hang with them daily, if you go out with them daily, a lot of times some of their traits will rub off on you, like it or not. Subconsciously, you're gonna. If you hang with someone daily, you go out with them daily. You go out with them. You go to different places with them on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you go, that person's there. Guarantee you would have some kind of traits relating to that person, even if subconsciously.
Yeah, because it's true.
Because even that's why when people are together for a long time, husband or wife or whatever, they just start to look alike.
That is crazy.
Their behavior is the same. Their mannerisms are the same, or they're the complete opposites to each other, where they can't really stand each other, but they're just there with each other, but they kind of know what they're dealing with. So it's a similar situation.
Okay, so let's see how you stay. So if you had a personal situation, so it's your situation now, and then something happened to your child, do you think that you would take the law into your own hand? Like if it was just like as soon as you hear it, I don't know, you might see red, or do you think that you would go the legal route, which is to call the police and go those steps to get justice? Remember, we're on air. We're on air, yeah? It's all recorded.
For myself, no comment.
Okay.
That's all I say. But what I would say, for me is no comment, to be honest with you, because I would not, because I have my own relationship when it comes to authority figures. Yeah. So I kind of deal with things differently. However, for most people, I would suggest, when it comes to your kids, make sure they're doing what they're meant to be doing. Mm-hmm. Watch what they're doing.
Of course.
And, the thing is, everybody's busy, everybody's working, everybody's doing what they need to do. When it comes to your kids, sit down with them. Maybe you spend like
let them
30
know
minutes,
as well, what it is.
an hour a day, and say, hey, son, hey, Timmy, hey, John.
Take an interest in what they've got going
whatever. on. How you getting on with life? What you been doing with yourself lately? And let them say whatever they want to you. They can say whatever. At least you have an idea of what they're getting up to. Because the problem is that parents don't have time to know what their kids are doing. Like I used to work in I used to work in Shepherd's Bush. Okay. I was in Bush at one time. Mm-hmm. up in what's that shopping center?
Oxfam?
Huh?
Oxfam?
No, the shopping center.
Westfield.
Oxfam.
Westfield.
Thank you. Oxfam.
Yeah.
Is that where you go?
I know you've been about, you know what I mean? No, not me, mate. I'm high end.
What, Primark don't count, you know?
No.
But okay, you know what? I'm joking, people. There's nothing wrong with Primark. This just
And
not
why has he tried it? Prime money. It's come a long way.
Not for me.
It's come a really long way. So you don't wear Primark things? No. So you don't wear Primark underpants? You don't wear Primark socks? Why are you trying to go like his chest is all high, people?
No, nothing I've ever bought is from Primark ever.
Well, you're missing out. They've got some
anytime-
good deals. Look, I'm not trying to promote from them. I'm not sponsored by them or nothing, but they got some good deals. Your money goes a long way in Primark. I'm not gonna lie.
The only time, okay, let me rephrase that. The only time I've been in there is probably twice in my life. And I would never, the thing is, my problem is I don't like chaos. So my issue is if I go somewhere, I go to shop somewhere, even supermarkets, I don't like chaos. So going to places like people swear by Lidl, people swear by Audi. I've been in there, but everything's everywhere. You have to find
So where do you
things.
shop for your food?
Huh?
Marks and Spencer's, Selfridges. Where do you shop for your food? Watch this now.
Yeah, so I go.
Organics.
No, I sometimes
Vegan.
I go
Keto diet, no joke.
No, sometimes I go M&S. Sometimes I go
Chest eye.
Sainsbury's, and
Okay.
I go Tesco.
He's coming back with us. He's coming back to
No,
us.
but primarily I go Tesco only because I got a Tesco card, so I go there religiously, and I only got it recently.
I'm surprised you're looking for deals.
But the thing is, I only go to certain places.
And
So
not
you
like that.
won't
Are you a
find me-
single person?
Huh?
Are you a single person? I say that because certain shops I think are okay for single people because of the price is okay for a single person. But I feel like if you're a family or buying for more than 2 people, then Marks and Spencer's is not the one.
I
You
think-
know what I mean? Like
I think
literally, Marks and Spencer's for if you're single, man.
I think Mark's M&S is
Good food, but
No,
their
I think
prices like
depends what you go there for. Like if you're going there for, I wouldn't go there for like meat products.
right,
But
definitely
if I'm going there for like I don't know, like rice or